Are you trying to create a drought? People like you come here, use up all our resources, and don't care whose wells run dry. That's how it started. A line so wild, so out of pocket. It snapped the heat haze of that Saturday into sharp, almost comic focus, you know what I mean? One of those afternoons when the sun sits heavy on the roof shingles, when the world feels slow and lazy, and the only thing that keeps moving is your own frustration. Ours had been building for weeks, watching the front lawn go from sad green to that crispy, humiliating yellow-brown. My wife finally threw down the law. We're getting sprinklers, no ifs, no buts, just pure domestic prophecy. And when she says it like that, you know you're not arguing. So we called in the local guys. Kevin, the installer, young, nervous, sweating through his shirt before he even started the job. But he worked hard. 2 full days laying pipes, digging trenches, measuring and remeasuring, so everything lined up just right. Today was the day for the grand unveiling. He brought me out to the garage, showed me the control panel, ran me through the program, my weekend uniform on, old black t-shirt and joggers, totally ready to supervise by doing as little as humanly possible. We flipped the switch. Sprinkler heads popped up out of the grass, spinning in neat little arcs, throwing water like confetti, and for about 10 seconds I was just a guy grinning at his own personal oasis, winning a small battle against the American summer. Then she came. Every neighborhood's got one, but ours was special. Late 60s, peroxide bob, gray shirt with that "I hate everything" look, stomping across her own flawless emerald turf straight at us, her finger out like a sword, voice already wound up tight, and she was loud enough to stop birds mid-flight. Her first words, accusing us of stealing water, of draining the whole city dry, came out so hot and wild I honestly wondered if she was delirious, heat stroke, maybe, or just pure, undiluted entitlement. Kevin froze, wrench halfway to his hip, wide-eyed, caught like a deer in headlights. I tried to reason. Always my first play. Ma'am, it's just a test run, just making sure the system works. We're not breaking any rules. But she wasn't having it. She marched right up to the property line, a living, breathing HOA violation alert. You people move in and think you can just waste water? We have standards here. Like she was the gatekeeper of the whole block. And then, right on cue, as if the universe itself was tired of her speech, a sprinkler spun her way and caught her, shoulder to knee, soaking her right through. For half a heartbeat, there was just silence. Then her face went beet red, and she screamed like she'd been shot, not splashed. You did that on purpose. That's assault. I'm calling the police. Out came her phone, jabbing her wet fingers at the screen, and honestly, I just folded my arms and watched, too tired to even be mad, just stunned. She stood there, yelling at the 911 operator about my illegal water operation, about how I attacked her, painting herself as the victim, loud enough for the whole street to hear. Kevin whispered, Is she serious? Yeah, she's serious, I sighed. Just hang tight, you're my witness now. Within 5 minutes, the flashing lights showed up. 2 cops, young, white, straight-faced. They walked right by me, right by Kevin in his company uniform, went straight to her like they'd been summoned by a bat signal. She poured out her story, turned her wet shirt like a badge of honor. He assaulted me, he bypassed the water meter, he threatened me, and the officers, notebook in hand, started the ritual. They turned to me, suspicion already thick in the air. Sir, what's going on here? I explained. Kevin backed me up, voice trembling but clear. It was an accident, officer. The sprinkler's on a timer. She walked right into it. But logic didn't land. The cops wanted paperwork, proof, and demanded the sprinklers be shut off for investigation. The humiliation burned hotter than the afternoon sun. I nodded to Kevin. Turn it off. Let's not make this worse. The arc of water died out, and the world went silent and tense. They wanted my ID. It's inside, I said, and one of them followed me to the door, hand resting near his gun. Subtle, but no mistake. My wife met me at the door, furious, scared, ready to go nuclear, but I put a hand on her arm. Just let me handle it. They ran my name, made us stand outside, turned our home into a crime scene over a neighbor's tantrum and some flying water. Eventually, they handed back my license and switched to lecture mode. Try to keep the peace, they said. Don't escalate things with your neighbors. I bit my tongue. Me, not her, being told to be civil. The injustice stuck in my throat, heavy and sour. As the officers left, Kevin handed me his dash cam footage, whispered, "The audio's clear. If you need it, call the office." A small gesture, but it meant everything. Inside, my wife paced like a caged tiger. "They're treating you like a criminal on your own lawn. This can't go on." She was right, but I was tired. What are we supposed to do, sue her? File a complaint that'll just get lost. But she was already on it. We fight with the truth. Kevin's video was the key, and when we watched it, her screaming, her lies, the whole show, the officer's tone, it was all there, a perfect 10-minute summary of suburban bigotry. My son posted it with a calm, factual caption on Twitter and the neighborhood Facebook group. The flood was immediate. Support from neighbors, confessions from others who'd been harassed by her, emails to the police chief. Then came the trolls, the racists, the stop playing the race card crowd, the threats. The video exploded. News crews, talk shows, strangers sharing their own Karen war stories. But we also became a target. Cold shoulders from some neighbors. The neighborhood watch guy standing at his window, silent, arms crossed, trying to intimidate us into silence. And then, the twist, the certified letter from the city water department. A formal investigation. She had filed a complaint that our system was illegal, that we were stealing water. Now we had city inspectors crawling over our pipes, looking for the crime that never happened. The humiliation grew. Every paper, every check, every knock at the door a reminder of her campaign. The city cleared us. No violations, but she wasn't finished. She used the HOA, her true seat of power. Violation notices for improper water use, overspray, public nuisance, fines stacking up. Then I realized she was the secretary of the HOA board. She was the one sending the notices. Judge, jury, and executioner all at once. Our kitchen counter filled with fines, our mailbox with threats. Every day, new nonsense. We fought back. Lawyered up with Ms. Diaz, a force of nature, who called this what it was: targeted harassment and breach of fiduciary duty. She sent cease and desist letters, threatened lawsuits, demanded apologies. The board stalled, the president hiding behind boilerplate language, but Diaz kept pushing. She brought in a private investigator who found gold. 8 years ago, the water which had built an unpermitted swimming pool, illegal from top to bottom, with a denied permit and safety violations. Suddenly her obsession with everyone else's water made sense. It was a smokescreen, protecting her own crime. Diaz wrote the HOA a letter, laying out the evidence. Either stop the fines, remove her, or we go public and report the pool. The HOA caved. All fines dropped. The water which kicked off the board, and a formal apology sent our way. The news went viral. But it wasn't the end. The stress lingered. My wife grew restless. My son, bullied at school, withdrew. We tried to find balance. Family trips, new routines, a determination not to let her poison our lives anymore. Then came the last, fatal twist. The PI tracked down her contractor, who gave a sworn affidavit that she'd paid him, in cash, to hook up her pool's autofill line before the water meter, so she could steal city water for years. The projection was stunning. She'd called the police on us for a crime she'd been committing all along. With this, the city moved fast. Criminal charges, investigation, arrest. We watched as her world collapsed. Felony theft, probation, fines, court-ordered counseling, a 10-year protective order barring her from our property. Even then, she tried one last act of petty sabotage, caught on camera at 3 a.m., trying to shut off our water with a wrench, arrested and sent to jail for the probation violation. The house foreclosed, sold. The poison finally drained from the block. Our new neighbors were warm, welcoming, normal. The old watch guy, humbled, shook my hand. One night, Mark, our new neighbor, handed me a beer and said, "We have peace here because you fought the war." That hit me hard. Not for the win, not for the money, but for the meaning, the proof that you can stand up, take the hits, and make your small corner of the world a little bit better. So yeah, sometimes it takes a neighborhood villain, a stack of bogus fines, and a mountain of evidence to change things. Sometimes it takes a war to make peace. And now, every time I hear those sprinklers were to life, I know we earned this patch of green, this quiet, this victory, not just for us, but for everyone who comes next. If you've ever been the target of injustice, if you've watched someone use the system to bully, intimidate, or exclude, I hope you find the strength to fight back, to stand tall, to refuse to be silent. Tell me, where do you stand on what's fair, what's right, what's worth fighting for? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about justice, community, and what it takes to make things right.